Welcome to the HAJIME Inside USA Judo interview series. I am your host, Hannah Martin, and today we're joined by Dr. Jean Kanokogi, a judoka, author, and federal agent who continues her family's legacy of breaking barriers in and beyond the dojo. She's the co-author of Get Up and Fight, the memoir of her mother, Rusty Kanokogi. And yeah, I'm just so excited to talk to you today. How are you? How are you today?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm super excited to get into this conversation and just unpack so much talking
Yeah.
about judo and empowerment and women.
Yeah, I'm super excited to talk with you. So I'm just gonna start like kind of from the beginning, which just to get us into this conversation. So, you grew up surrounded by judo. Both your parents were deeply involved in the sport. So yeah, what are your like some of your earliest memories on the tatami?
I remember rolling around the mat as a kid, just being at the edge of the mat. And I guess this way, my parents, who are both senseis, that they can keep an eye on me. So when the senior class was going on and I was just sitting off the side, I would emulate everything that was going on. So I would be doing break falls and I would be doing all the ukemi for the warm-ups. I would be doing the warm-ups and I was told, okay, you can do the warm-ups. And I was like 6 or 7 years old. You
Mhm.
can do the warm-ups, but don't interfere. So of course, what did I do? Interfered. And even going back before that, Hannah, I was almost born on the mat. Rusty
Mhm.
was pregnant with me when she was teaching, and that's when it was time to give birth. Coincidentally, her student was also her OBGYN who was practicing to do his kata for his black belt.
Oh,
So they go to the
wow.
hospital waiting for me to come out and they dress her in her hospital gown and this is we're talking a little bit ago.
Hmm.
So as she's getting these contractions and everything else, he's got a test for his kata exam in a week or so. So they're doing nagi no kata what in her gown trying to get the contractions under control. So if you walk by the room and you see just the doctor like doing a stranglehold or something on his patient, so it was great. So this is how I came into the world, and then just rolling around the mat as a kid and emulating the senior classes.
Wow, that's the story. I mean, that's funny if you think about it. Maybe it helped it helped with the birthing process, to be active and moving. That's so funny. Well, that's amazing. I just wanted to like just also tell you that okay, I have a 4-year-old daughter and I came back to judo after giving birth like 3 months later and basically she was like sleeping on the side of the mat. Like, yeah, she was not, you probably did the same. You probably were on the tatami when you were, just born and sleeping there and you grew up there rolling on the mat. And that's just like my daughter. And she's like so comfortable on the tatami. And I just love this for her because it's a great atmosphere. It's a great environment, I think, for kids. So,
Absolutely, and it carries on through life.
yeah. So, I mean, I really hope she like loves judo like I do, but we'll see. I'm not gonna force it, but she's only 4, so she has really a lot of time to see if she loves it. Um, so yeah, your mother, like she's a trailblazer. She's amazing. So I'm sure that you, as her daughter, have learned a lot from her. So what lessons have you learned from your mother that still, guide you today? Both in life and also like in your professional career.
One of the things that really just jumps out to me right away is growing up. She taught me no morsels. Do not just accept morsels. If you want something, don't accept just a little bit. Here you go, little girl, go away. Here's a little piece of the pie. If you
Hmm.
want the whole pie, you find a way to go for it. You do it fairly, you put in the hard work, you pay your dues, be willing to fight for it, and don't just accept the morsels. Because to revel in mediocrity, you'll never propel forward. And that's one of the big lessons that she taught me. I mean, of course, there's so many other lessons like
Yeah.
never give up, get up and fight. I remember in one of some tournament, I think it was a national or US Open, I was getting choked. And I remember the never give up, get up and fight. And I mean, you have no choice. Either you tap out or you go out. I
Yeah.
actually stood up with the person still on my neck. I was pretty much blue, like the color of my shirt, but I stood up. And I carry that with me throughout life
Hmm.
because if I can get up from that and I hear that voice in my head always, don't accept mediocrity, don't give up, and always just keep getting up and move forward. Even if you get knocked down a little bit, just get back up.
Hmm. Wow, that's actually it's really like really really cool to hear because it's like just something that's stuck with you through life, and it's like it's a great thing to always have in the back of your head. Like no matter what you're going through, it's like get up, you can, you're strong enough, you can do this, and that's just like just it's very simple but also powerful at the same time. So that's a really really great thing. So I was doing some research on you. So you have quite a cool yeah, professional career actually. So judo's been part of your life since day one, but you also like have evolved from athlete to sensei and also professional investigator working. Um, I'm not sure if we get this right, working in the police or working for, yeah, what exactly, how did this evolve from, like young girl in the tatami to athlete to, your professional career?
Well, my professional career, I just retired. I'm a
Yeah.
retired United States federal agent, so a special agent, and that's federal law enforcement.
Hmm.
Also as a sensei and also being a competitive judoka. The progress, nothing is ever smooth in transition, and you just find your way. You find your purpose.
Yeah.
And in Japanese, purpose, that's ikigai. What do
Hmm.
you love? What are you good at? What does the world need? And what can you get paid doing? So you find that intersection of all four of those, and you follow your purpose. One of the things that, or a few of the things that have carried consistently from judoka, sensei, and federal law enforcement is fairness.
Hmm.
Fairness, jitakyo-e, seireko zenyo. Jitakyo-e is the mutual benefit for everybody. And seireko zenyo is the maximum efficiency. And I know a lot of the viewers, you all know this, but think about that off the mat and how you can apply that. When I'm arresting somebody, when I'm doing a search warrant, when I'm doing an investigation, you want somebody with those principles because that's all about fairness.
Hmm.
That's all about respect. You still say please and thank you when you're putting handcuffs on somebody. It's something that has carried from the mat to the courtroom to the career. So
Yeah.
that is something that you can take as a judoka and let that carry and apply throughout everything you're doing. Same thing as a sensei, fairness. And I say fairness, not in the fairness where everybody gets a trophy, because you have to work, you have to pay your dues.
Hmm.
If everybody gets a trophy, then what's the point? You work hard to win. And win does not mean winning the match. Win means you've done your very best, and that's winning.
That is winning. Yeah, 100%. So yeah, that is like hitting the nail on the head of like how the judo values really can apply to life, and that's just how it goes. So you actually have your book with you. You showed it to me. So let's look at this. So this is I'll let you actually probably talk about it more than me because I have to say I actually have not read it yet. I'm going to read it. I hope I can actually get it on Amazon here in I live in Austria, so I have to go check and see if it's available internationally.
It sure is.
It is?
It is available worldwide in paperback, hardcover,
No
and ebook.
way. Okay,
So,
okay. So I'm gonna
it,
go on Amazon.de after this and check it
you
out. So
it's interesting. You asked about writing the book.
yeah.
Here's the challenge. Rusty and I wrote it. Rusty and I wrote this together back in about 2004, 2005.
Hmm.
We put together the manuscript. She would put her ideas down on paper. And back in 2004 and 2005, she was very dangerous because she would send me the email, hit the send, and then call me immediately. Did you get it? Did you read it? What do you think? So, so she was very dangerous on the computer. Um, but she and I put together this manuscript. We had a lot of laughs, a lot of cries, and one of the big issues that she had is she couldn't find a professional author that can capture her voice,
Hmm.
that can capture her tone and her telling her story. Because with Rusty, you have a little bit of Brooklyn, you have attitude, you have Yiddish, you have Japanese, you have You have to be able to tell her story in her voice. And she said everybody else wanted to fluff it up like a Barbie doll or, make it some crazy killer in a horror movie. And she's like, that's not my voice. So to me, the biggest challenge was writing it. I wrote this in her voice with her telling you her story. And there's some parts where you will laugh, there's some parts where you will cry, and there's some parts that will make you so angry saying, I can't believe they did this to women's judo back then. And thank goodness for Rusty standing up to the people, the misogyny that ran rampant back in the day to
Mhm.
keep women's judo back and keep, especially US judo. Internationally, they were competing and they were flourishing. They were growing. But in US judo, they were trying to hold us back. Rusty wouldn't have it. And Rusty was the Joan of Arc of USA Judo at the time for women because we needed a big voice. Now,
Mhm.
there were other people, other pioneers, don't get me wrong. There were other pioneers that fought for women's judo, but I think Rusty was probably the loudest.
I don't know why this makes me like feel really emotional. I think because I'm a female that is, USA judo athletes. So I'm like actually like I feel like thankful for her for fighting for us because I mean, we're in a great time now. Like now it's I think women's sports is just like flourishing around the world, but I mean, maybe USA Judo, women's judo wouldn't exist really today. Wouldn't be like as she didn't fight for us. So yeah, like why, let's go back to your book and why should USA Judo members, especially females, read this book? Why do you feel like it's really important for
Well,
us to read this?
I think connecting to Rusty, it's important because it's so empowering. She always would raise the bar high because
Mhm.
she saw your potential. So it allows you to raise your bar a little higher to reach even higher than what you thought you could reach. The other important thing is history. If you don't know the history, there's a possibility it could repeat itself.
Yeah.
And we don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
We don't want to see all of that misogyny and all of that pushback and all of that inequality for women getting the morsel. Okay, you can take Rusty, you can take a team to the British Open. Here's $50 for the whole team. And the
Oh
men's team gets an
gosh.
entire wardrobe and outfit. I remember at judo tournaments, I would be selling buttons and pins and whatever Rusty would have me sell to raise money so a team can go to the British Open or to any international tournament because she would fundraise and
Wow.
then the AAU or whatever US Judo it was back then, they would give them a morsel. Rusty would always demand more. The other thing it's important that you can get out of this book is never assume who your allies will or will not be. When Rusty was holding the first, okay, so just to digress, the first
Mhm.
Women's World Judo Championships had to be held. Originally, Rusty just won women's judo in the Olympics.
Mhm.
And the naysayers said, well, okay, Rusty, good for you. You won it in the Olympics? Well, you don't even have a world championships. How are you going to do that? And you ever say something and want to pull those words back? So that was in the case of Rusty. She said, well, you know what? I'm going to hold a world championships. And it was almost like a schoolyard challenge. Oh, yeah, Rusty, where are you going to do this? I'm going to hold it at Madison Square Garden in New York City. And as the words were flying out of her mouth, she just was like, oh my goodness, how's this going to happen? She actually came back to the dojo and said, okay, this one got promoted, this one did well in school. And by the way, we're renting Madison Square Garden and holding the world championships.
Amazing.
And, and my father, of course, just looked up from his paperwork and just shook his head. So she pulled it off. And with her
Yeah,
ally,
she pulled it off. I know this story. It's crazy. It's amazing, actually.
and,
Yeah.
and I actually have the ledger. Uh, the truth is, she was negative $71.
Negative
It's a
71.
paper ledger of everything. And
Wow.
you know who, at that time, they were changing the IJF president. Originally, the president of the IJF was Charles Palmer from the UK, and he was all supporting women's judo and all supporting, and you've got my support. The president then changed to Dr. Shigeyoshi Matsumai. And the Japanese mindset was still a little bit more behind than even USA Judo for women.
Yeah.
They've never had an international competition. And Rusty was thinking, oh my goodness, I'm not going to get the support of this president, older Japanese man, president of Tokai University, engineer. There's no way. She said that was such a huge mistake to even think that. Dr. Shigeyoshi Matsumai came through and helped and fully supported women's judo and the first Women's World Judo Championships. He even decided because of this, he was going to put together with Rusty an international tournament for women's judo in Japan, which has never been, which was the Fukuoka Championships. I
Yeah.
actually competed
Oh,
in the first Fukuoka, which is
wow.
now turned into the All Japan Championships for women. So, I
Wow.
mean, this history is so rich. Every female judoka needs to know her roots, where this was born, and the fight and the struggle to appreciate not only what you have, because Rusty said you have to be hungry. And if you have so much, and oh, look, you just got a box of all these beautiful uniforms and all these different gis and everything's embroidered and la la la. Well,
Mhm.
you know what? Think about these women that didn't have it. Think about the ladies that actually at the first World Championships were sewing, hand sewing the patches on the uniforms.
Wow.
So this history is so important because I like to know where I came from and my trailblazers, like just in any other sports and Billie Jean King in tennis and I mean any other sport, you know where you come from, you know the history, you really get more and more hungry to do justice for your trailblazers.
Wow. And can you tell me the year? So when did you compete at the all
Uh,
women's comp?
okay, I think it was 83.
See, and it's not so far away. Like that was not so long ago,
Yes, yes.
1983. Like think about that.
Yep.
Like
Yep. The first World Championships was in 80. The second was in 82. Um, then Rusty wanted women's judo in the 84 Olympics. She said, okay, we've had two world championships. Now what? They said, no, that's not part of her vocabulary. Those two little letters,
no.
N-O, not. She went to LA and she wanted to stop the Olympics. She wanted to put an injunction on the Olympics because she sued the International Olympic Committee and she won. They showed discrimination against women's judo. She sued the US Olympic Committee and she won. They showed discrimination against women's judo.
This is something I did not know actually. I'm learning so much right now. This is amazing. I did not
And
know this.
she went there with an army. That's why the next LA 28 games are huge because the last time they were on US soil, Rusty was there trying to stop the Olympics.
Wow. Wow. And then 1988 is when, they had the first they were the Olympics, but it wasn't really like was it official yet or was it like more of a like not a show, but just what is this
Exhibition.
called? Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
They were exhibition in 88, but I mean it's still the Olympics.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
walking in opening ceremonies. Nobody knows that you're an exhibition sport. And
Yeah.
you know, one of the Rusty's gold medal was her walking into that Olympic stadium as the coach of USA Judo
Yeah.
with her team. And it was absolutely amazing. That was her gold medal because she looked around and right then and there, she saw all these other Olympians, all these other women in judo that will have lives and careers and pass it down to their children and their students for the rest of their lives. And then in 92 in Barcelona, it was official and it's been in the Olympics ever since.
Yeah. And now I mean, you can see how it's just exploded women's judo. And the IGF is actually really, really amazing, like where they keep everything's equal, everything's fair. Like you see it, like there's the same amount of females and males for each division that can qualify. The prize money is the same. So they really have like worked really hard to like make sure everything is fair and equal for men and women. And you even see now there's so many females working in the sport, like as coaches, as they're working in the IGF, they're doing the IGF Academy, but they're like the instructors of the IJF Academy. So there's a lot of jobs available now for females in the sport of judo that was once just like male dominated. So it's just
Oh,
come so far, especially in the last like since I've been doing judo, really. Like, it's really like so different than when I was a kid, honestly. So it's really
well,
great to see.
you mentioned the IJF and you mentioned judo, women's judo on the international stage. I was
Hmm.
at a police, I was actually speaking at a Women in Policing conference in Tbilisi, Georgia. And a woman, a very military looking woman, very stern look on her face, came up to me with her interpreter. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to get on locked up abroad or something. So, so she comes, and next thing you know, there's a tear coming from her eye. And through her interpreter, she said she was from, I think it was Kazakhstan or Uzbekistan, one of the stands.
Hmm.
And she said, I told Rusty's story at that conference. And she said she always knew it was an American woman that gave her daughter the opportunity to have an Olympic dream. And she was so pleased to meet me. And then she brought her daughter on the phone. I think her daughter just medaled in one of the, like the Tbilisi Open or something like
Okay.
huge.
Okay.
Um, but she said because of this American woman, Rusty, her daughter had the dream. And that right then and there just gave me chills because you look around internationally, all of these women that have these dreams, all of these women that are all over working in high positions in the IJF. Look at Dr. Lisa Allen. She's
Hmm.
amazing. She's the secretary.
Yeah.
Uh, that it's absolutely, and she's doing amazing things for the IJF. It's just astonishing to see how the ripple effect is. And one of the beautiful things about the ripple effect is if Rusty, this street gang member from Brooklyn, New York, that was told that no, she couldn't compete and she couldn't practice in judo, has international platform of a ripple effect. So that means anybody watching this, whatever you do, if you don't think it's a big deal, don't worry about it. Just do it. If it's positive, just do it because you will have that ripple effect as well on others.
Yeah. Yeah. And like she just like really showed like true resilience, Like she just was so strong and she knew what was right and she fought for it and kept going. And it's just I think it's something that we all need to strive strive for, Fight more, be resilient, Be strong. So I'm gonna actually talk a little bit more. I want to talk about you and about a little bit about your personal story. So you've spoken, yeah, like I've seen some interviews of you and read about you online. So you've spoken about your two brain surgeries, that were
Yeah.
connected to your ninth, because you worked, on Ground Zero, 9/11, Ground Zero. I hope I'm not trying to get emotional because it's like not easy to talk about, but. First of all, how are you doing? How are you recovering from this?
I'm pacing myself. When I'm sitting in my chair and I'm all relaxed, I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to make a comeback. I want to compete in LA 28. And then I'm reminded, Jane, you got two holes in your head. Calm down.
Yeah.
So, as a first responder and from New York City, I was down there and digging on the pile. As a result of my work digging on the pile and down at Ground Zero, I developed 2 years ago a brain tumor. And I did a lot of radiation to try to zap this tumor. And it, of course, like any cell in my body wants to fight. Well, this tumor wanted to fight, so it was getting too close to my brainstem. And 13 months ago, I had to have a craniotomy to resect the brain tumor. And then a month after the first brain surgery, I developed a CSF leak, a cerebrospinal fluid leak, and they had to replace the plate, open the head again, and put mesh over it and put screws into my skull. So, with that, that's only 13 months ago. So,
Yeah.
anybody out there with a knee injury, a twisted ankle, a broken toe, you can recover. Trust me. Uh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
and with that, 13 months ago of the two brain surgeries, I'm still in a lot of pain. My vocal cord was paralyzed. I actually have a paralyzed vocal cord now, and in order to speak, they had to two times put a needle through my throat into my vocal cord with a camera up my nose, down my throat, while awake this whole time.
Oof.
I've also gotten cervical branch nerve blocks and occipital nerve blocks, big needles in the back of my neck. They
Mhm.
put a 15-inch needle to drain the spinal fluid. Uh, I can't even begin to tell you. My bones got weakened a little bit because of all the radiation. So now I'm doing strength training, I'm doing physical therapy. I had to learn how to walk again, learn how to talk again. My balance, because of judo, I'm ahead of the game because
Mhm.
the vestibular issues, I'm also deaf on my right side because they had a drill through my ear.
Mm.
So the vestibular issues that you develop, let me tell you something. I trained for this surgery, and anybody who's going to have any type of surgery, I don't care whatever it is, whether it be brain surgery or you're battling something or you're fixing your knee, you train, you get your body in the best shape possible. I trained like I was going to the Olympics before this. It was just and this training helped me get up out of bed. I
Mhm.
was able to lift my body to be able to get out of bed. My wife was reminding me to get out of bed and that training that I did to do that because your muscles will completely decompensate. So whenever you move forward in your healing, you may get a little bit of a setback, but instead of dwelling on it, move on, keep going. In judo, we pivot. We pivot a lot. We turn, we redirect. We use our strengths in all different ways. This is exactly how you can do it while healing. And that's what I'm doing to heal. I have good days, I have bad days. But every day
Yeah.
that I'm able to empower somebody, inspire somebody, touch somebody, I'll do that.
Yeah, and I mean, I have to say it's amazing. Like 13 months after it, and you're sitting here talking to me, and telling me your vocal cord was paralyzed and everything like this, and this is just like you sitting here talking to me is just it's just amazing. Like, and you're so positive and you're like happy and you're smiling and it's like your mindset is just like this is not like an this is not a knee surgery, And we have knee surgeries when we're athletes and we think this is the end of the world, but this is like totally different. Wow.
And that's the whole thing, Hannah. You just have, even if you have a knee surgery that's going to take you out of competition, then you pivot and do something else. Do
Exactly.
something else
Yeah.
that will help somebody. Keep
Yeah.
that mindset moving forward. The Japanese art, kintsugi. When a bowl breaks, instead of throwing it away, they put it back together with the gold inlay, and where the scars are, you're actually stronger. So all of you athletes out there with all different breaks and scars, you're stronger where that healed up. So never forget that.
That is like judo is a hard sport. You are getting thrown, you have to get back up, you're getting thrown again, you have to adapt to all different sort of like, a judo match is never the same. You never can have like the same judo match. There's nothing like you go to a football match or football. You go to a soccer match. I say football now because I And it's kind of always the same. You're kicking the ball to your teammate, and score a goal. It's only one way to score a goal, but in judo, there's a million different ways to get and score a goal, or score a point or score a pawn or whatever. So it's just like this is how life. This is just like life. There's a bunch of things that are being thrown at you, and it's never the same, and you have to pivot, like you said, or like adapt or get up and keep fighting, never give up. And this is just like this is the theme of our talk today. I love it. What message would you like to share with, athletes who are going through like a major life challenge? It might not be like a surgery, but it could be like anything, mental health issues, or they're transitioning from being an athlete to, not an athlete anymore, which I think is kind of like a really big, for me, this is this is one of the hardest things for me. Um, Stopping judo and retiring from judo, like I think this was harder than dealing with a dealing with a knee surgery, to be honest with you. But yeah, what message would you like to give to athletes who are facing challenges?
Facing these challenges, there's always something out there to look forward to. Being resilient. We hear the word resilience, right? What does that mean? It doesn't mean that you're impervious to adversity. It means that you're pivoting. It means that being able to bounce back. And when you bounce back, it's not my new normal is definitely different than my normal 14 months ago. So your new normal, embrace that. Be grateful. Be have these gratitudes every single day. Think about what you're grateful for, not the low-hanging fruit. Oh, I'm grateful for my breakfast or my coffee, and which I am still, but really dig deep. And the other thing that is a really important message, it's okay to not be okay for the day. It's really okay. But when you're feeling that, when you're feeling that, reach out to a friend, talk to somebody, journal. If you're in crisis, call 988. If you're mulling over some ideas, call a friend because you are not the only one that is feeling what you're feeling, especially as an athlete transitioning, especially as an athlete that's moving past an injury. So it's okay to reach out. And, some days you'll be at your best, some days you'll be able to get off the couch, and that's a big deal. But every single day, remember one thing, you are completely worth it. Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself every single day and know that you're worth it.
Yeah, that's the message. That's a great message. I want to talk about the Women's Sport Foundation and the Rusty Kanokogi Fund, which I am familiar with. You also are because you serve on the evaluation committee for the Rusty Kanokogi Fund for the advancement of USA Judo for women's judo. That's what it's for. So what makes the scholarship so special to you? And yeah, I mean, I can tell you it's helped me. I've been a recipient like I think two times in my career, maybe three, maybe two, because I don't think you can get it that many times. But the Women's Sports Foundation and this fund has been very, very helpful for my judo career. So yeah, why is this a very important and special scholarship for women?
This was Rusty's dream. Rusty's dream, one of Rusty's dreams was to be able to have a fund to be able to help some young women and up and coming women in judo. That fund never existed. Guys always they always seemed to find money for their travel, for their training. Women's judo, not so much. So it's not huge money, but it's something. It's
Mm.
something, it's a piece of the pie, it's validation. The Women's Sports Foundation manages this fund. The late Richard Ader actually created this fund, and the interest from the fund gets doled out every year to we get a lot of applicants and we go through these applicants and these are the best of the best, and on this selection committee everybody is evaluated. We take the time to really go through these applications and be able to help as many and as much as we can. It's so special to me. It started right before Rusty passed. It was the first year. I think it was in 2009 was the first year, and she asked me if I would help when she's not here any longer to step in and lead the fund. I said absolutely. So she was going through the applications and she said, look, if I'm not here, I want you to select Kayla Harrison as the first recipient. And I said, who is Kayla Harrison? Rusty turned to me and she said, you'll see. And right then and there, um, it meant so much. And when Kayla won the first gold for US women, I cried like a baby
Wow.
because
Wow.
Rusty knew.
That
And that story is just something that it touches my soul.
wow.
This fund will help as many people as we can and keep Rusty's dream alive on telling people, get up and fight. We see you. We hear you. You're
Yeah.
validated. Go for
Yeah,
it.
validated. I think when I received it, it was like back in 2012, around 2011. A young athlete. I was working two jobs to help pay for judo, that kind of thing. And I just felt like I so seen in that moment when I think I received like, I don't know, it was maybe a letter in the mail or I'm not sure, maybe email. I'm not sure if it was email. I don't remember. But and I remember I was like, wow, like they really believe in me. I felt like someone like believed in me, and because like it's hard sometimes. It is hard because there's not a lot of money in USA Judo to begin with, and then you don't get funded to go to important competitions. I was working two jobs plus training full time plus whatever, and Getting just, it's not like it's not life-changing money, but it's money that can help you get to Europe for for a competition or a training camp, or it was just so helpful. But I think it was more than the money. It was more about like, wow, like whoever selected me really believed in me. And I think that's like it's a more of like a confidence boost, I would say. Um, for for me as a young woman, it was like very, very special for me. I was so
Well,
happy.
I'll elevate that confidence boost. One of the other people on the selection committee is Billie Jean King.
Wow, really?
So I will elevate that confidence boost.
So like that makes me feel really good. Yay. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, so I mean you only can apply like one. I think I applied twice. I don't know if that's like I don't really remember, but I did also get help from the Women's Sport Foundation for another fund. They have a really nice fund for women who are mothers and they give a nice grant. I forgot the name of it. I was also a recipient a few years ago when I came back after having my daughter, and they also they also yeah I was accepted into this grant for women who are mothers and who are trying to train for I was training for the Olympics and for Paris 2024, and yeah that was like so amazing, so helpful because I live in Europe. I don't have family around me to pay for any kind of childcare cost. I was like, this is amazing. The Women's Sport Foundation is just like the top, the best, the best of the best, honestly.
It is, and the founder, Billie Jean King, believed just like her and Rusty were inseparable because they were aligned in raising the bar high,
Hmm.
making you meet your potential, not reveling in mediocrity. Billie Jean was a pioneer for her sport and for all women's sports, and
Yeah.
now an advocate for all sports. I mean, if you just turn on the TV, whatever channel she's on, doing something, and all of those funds and all of that they have the travel and training, they have the program for moms, they advocate, they do a lot of research. The research shows that women and girls in sports will do better in life. There's less unwanted pregnancy. There is more women in the C-suites that played sports,
Hmm.
whether it be amateur or professional. These C-suite women are athletes. So if you look around and any of these, they're professional sports team owners. I think that the last foundation dinner, that's who was just recognized. So these women, professional referees and umpires, I mean, this is amazing. And I mean, I can't talk enough about how good the Women's Sports Foundation is in supporting women in sports.
It's absolutely amazing. So so yeah, I was very humbled receiving receiving these and now you just made my day telling me who also sits on the on the committee too. Like I'm just like blown away. So Um, yeah, Women's Sports Foundation, amazing. I'm very happy there's a special, and just it's actually very cool. There's one just for judo. I think that's like really special because judo is not mainstream sport. It's not gymnastics. It's not swimming. It's not. It's not really a popular sport if you think about it for women. So like, it's really I think special and important to say it's just for women in judo, and that's just so exclusive and amazing that they have this for judo. So
And it allows you to be validated and seen.
yeah, so young girls, please apply next year because you are seen. And they do read the applications.
Yes.
Uh, so really, like this has been amazing to speak with you. You've worn many hats in your life. You're athlete, agent, author, advocate. Also, you're recovering from major surgery. So what unites all of these parts? What makes you you?
I would say it is my purpose to help others, empower others, give people the get up and fight that's within me. When there were times where, and this is a great message that I'd like you to think about and don't just blow this off. When you think you have nothing left inside, when you've given it your all, you still have more. This I can tell you as I was recovering from these brain surgeries. This was a tough surgery. I think it was 275 stitches in my head twice. This was a tough recovery. You still have more. When you feel empty, when you're doing those push-ups and you don't think you have one more left in you, take a pause. Earlier you said give yourself grace. You still have more. So
Mhm.
that is part of my purpose is to show you you still have more, to let you know that it's okay to not be okay, but you have to do something. Reach out. Don't just wallow. Reach out. Part of my purpose is to take Rusty's story and elevate it and let people know, reach into that inner get up and fight. Don't settle for the morsel. If you want something, go for it. Put the hard work into it. You can achieve anything. Don't accept no. No is a great answer when somebody doesn't just want something easy to say. Don't accept no. Don't accept no if you want something. Just pay your dues, work hard. You got this. That's part of my purpose is to empower, to inspire, to elevate. And that keeps me going because I survived these surgeries. I survived and beat this tumor because for a reason. So I'm going to continue my reason. And it's not all rainbows and butterflies. Not everything, not every day is a great day. But it's okay for me to give myself grace and say, you know what, Gene, take a step back. Relax today. Tomorrow you can go after the world. Relax today. You're not feeling your best.
Wow. That's that's the message for like really that is the message. I also want to ask you, how do you define getting up and fighting?
I define it in so many different ways. Physically, that's the easy part. That's the low-hanging fruit. Getting up and fighting, doing your Chikomi, doing your workout. Working out when you don't feel like, when you have bonbons in front of you, or you have the gym. During the pandemic, we actually built a little dojo and a little gym in our basement. So that, and now that I'm older, I use a crash mat. But still moving the body, getting up and fighting through the days where you rather just sit and binge watch something on Netflix, or getting up and working out and going for a walk. Get up and fight physically. Emotionally, getting up and fighting emotionally is more challenging. So having the wherewithal and understanding what emotions you're feeling, because in today's day and age, we are feeling a plethora of emotions. Name the emotion that you're feeling. If you feel like there's a big jumble, a big ball in front of you, because if you name it, and especially if it's an emotion that's weighing you down, if you say it, you name it, you say it, you slay it, it's gone. There you go. You're fighting through that emotion. Mentally, mental health. Mental health is so important. We have to be more resilient. Can't just wallow, can't just sit around. Getting up and fighting through any type of mental health is knowing, again, it's okay to not be okay, but do something about it. Reach out, journal, write down your gratitudes, do something kind for somebody else, do something kind for yourself. That's the get up and fight. And also, like I mentioned earlier, when you feel like you have nothing left inside of you, reach into that get up and fight. Reach into it deep because you still have that power. You have the power to be your very, very best.
Yeah. Wow. So much there, to unpack. I love this. And I want to ask one last question.
Sure.
Before actually, oh, I have two questions before we end.
Sure.
Is that okay? Two questions.
Of course, of
First
course.
off, I want to ask, what do you hope for the next generation of USA judoka? I'm going to talk about specifically women. And what do you hope for them, to take away from your story and your mother's legacy?
Well, for the next generation of women in judo, I want to see you shine. I want to see you elevated. I want to see you do your best. Medal, no medal, doesn't matter. Do your very best. Ganbate, do your best. I want to see you that if you're not competing, I want to see you helping the next generation achieve their hopes. Keep paying it forward. In a lot of applications we see for the Rusty Fund, everybody's writing down what they want to do for the next generation. Put it to work.
And my last question is, if Rusty were here today, and she was, watching and seeing women's judo, what would she think? What would she say?
Uh, Overall, she would say any inequity. is absurd, absolutely disgusting, and should not exist. Women should be equal to men. So in the sport, for funding, for getting gis, for any of the perks, for the training time, for the mat time. So it is absolutely absurd if there's not equality right now. That's what she would say. She would also say that she is super, super, super proud of the IJF incorporating and having so many women running the IJF. She's super proud to see Corinne Shigemoto at the helm of USA Judo. She's super proud. She would say she was super proud of seeing Carrie Chandler as a coach. And she would be super proud of all of these athletes in USA Judo that are working their guts out to achieve their dreams. She would say on an international level for countries in Europe, in Africa, in every continent,
Yeah.
all countries, seeing women training, seeing the NGOs helping women's judo, she would be so proud. And I'm sure she is shining down right now, smiling, knowing how hard these women are training to achieve the dream that she was able to create for them.
Yeah, and I think she'd be very, very happy and very proud. Actually, a coach from Portugal said recently, I saw in an interview, he was like, for me, there's no men's judo, there's no women's judo, there's just judo. And I think like
Yes,
we've reached it this now. Like it's really at this point. You know, there are of course some little things, you know, inequalities, but overall, I think we are like it's judo, you know, and this
yeah,
is what it is. So
that's great.
yeah.
That,
And
that's
it's really
absolutely
amazing
great.
to hear this from like a male coach saying this, not a women's coach saying that.
Yeah.
So you see like how far overall we've come, you know, altogether. So wow, Jean, thank you so much. This has been like absolutely amazing. I'm like so happy that I got to talk to you and it's like really I learned so much today. And I'm actually going to check out the book. Where can we find it again? Can you just remind us one more time?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll show it to you. It's Get Up and Fight, and you can find it on Amazon. You can find it in like Barnes and Noble, Books a Million, at least online. I don't know if they carry it in the store, but online you could find it on all of the platforms.
Amazing. Thank you so much and have a great day. Thank
You
you.
too. It's wonderful chatting with you, Hannah, and thank you everybody in Judo Land.